like maybe like some gold in jewelry, but I don't really own gold as an investment. Now that's not to say it's not a good investment. I mean, that's not really in my expertise, right? But all I can say is it's not really for me. Okay. All right. So I know there are lots of other gold bugs or gold investors, but Bitcoin is my gold. Right? Crypto is my gold. So I mean, I'm kind of all in on crypto. Okay. PledgeCamp. Please submit it on our feedback page because this anything that requires research, please submit it to our feedback.tokenmetrics.com. Best 5 altcoins for long-term hodl, except Ethereum. Okay, not sure why these live streams keep. Okay, apologies, guys. We are back again. It seems some people were cut off. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube keeps cutting off some of these videos. I'm gonna have to complain to YouTube. Okay, anyway. So, person is asking about best 5 altcoins. So we answer this almost every single week, but best 5 altcoins right now for us. So obviously not Bitcoin. Maker, Litecoin, Cosmos, Matic, Decred. In that order. Right, so Maker. So that's Maker, Litecoin, Cosmos, Matic, Decred. Now that's just for this week. That's not for the next 1 year. All right, but he's saying long term. Okay, sorry. So if we had to do long term, I would really just we'll have a new feature that's going to be launching that breaks everything up into long term and short term to make it easier for everybody to understand, because this does factor in kind of the momentum, which does make things confusing for and not really easy to decipher. But if we had to pick, so right now, based on today's analysis, altcoins that have potential for the next, for 1 year or longer, we have Cardano, we have Cosmos, and we have Hedera Hashgraph. Both of these are scoring over 70 in fundamentals and technology. So both of these. Okay, so I would say these 3 are really the ones to keep an eye on. James saying YouTube is freezing your stream on purpose. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, because it's definitely, it might be OBS. Maybe it's an issue with OBS because I have 1 gigabyte internet speed. And that, right? So it's definitely not my internet connection speed. And I did limit the throttling speed for the stream, so I'm definitely not putting out too much bandwidth. So I have no idea what's going on. Right? So if anybody knows how to fix this issue, let me know. But it seems the streams keep on glitching. Okay, so let's see who else we have here. Okay, Hourglass is saying, how do you organize? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me just give me 1 second here. 1 second. My family is asking me to give them my order. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Just kidding. This is for 5 guys. It's our cheat day. Okay, apologies. Hey, family first, family first. Okay. So the question from Hourglass, let me see if I can pull that up here. Okay, it's not. Anyway, so Hourglass says, how do you organize your life so you're utilizing the maximum efficiency of your time? I've started by creating an Excel sheet for every penny I own and where it's going. What's the next level look like? We back? Yeah, so live stream is back. So it seems you have two questions. So you're asking how to maximize efficiency, and then you're also asking about finances. I would say, how do I maximize? I'll just share what I personally do. Now, my schedule is totally different from everybody. Like every time I tell people my schedule, they're like, what? But so a day in the life of Ian Valina. I wake up like usually I wake up, I would say about half an hour before my first meeting. So let's say I block off my calendar. My calendar is only available to start booking after 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I usually wake up around 9:30 or so. I mean, sometimes I just oversleep, and I mainly because I sleep and work late at night because I'm kind of a workaholic. But sometimes I'll wake up and take a meeting in bed, right? Because our team is global and we work mainly via video calls on Zoom. So dealing with international, right? Like for example, our developer is in India, and they're like right now it's morning over there. So if I have to talk to him, since sometimes I have calls with him at midnight, at 3 a.m. But anyway, I wake up around 10 a.m. My entire day is always planned out on my calendar. So I have my calendar app here on my phone, on my computer, on my desktop, everywhere. I have notifications, so whenever there's a meeting coming up, it pings me on my phone, on my desktop, everywhere basically. So I try not to miss meetings. So that's why usually I always make meetings. But anyway, my entire day is always scheduled out. Now, there's some days where I don't really have much going on. Where, for example, I only have like 2 meetings that day. Maybe one at 10 and maybe one at 5. So in between then, I try to just do research on stuff. So I've been reading lots of white papers, just learning more about how projects that are doing well with staking and governance have done it. So looking into projects like Tezos, Cosmos. We read Bitcoin's white paper. I read Dash's white paper trying to just understand how they do governance because I really like their model. Read Energy's white paper to see how our friend Tommy World Power does, because Energy has done well with building a community. Just researching, I went through and read the Helium white paper because I'm like, if I'm going to be mining this stuff, I should know like all this technical stuff. So I was reading that. But for the most part, my days works. I work from anywhere from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sometimes it's only like 12 to 6 p.m. But that's usually what I call my first sprint, or my first sprint. Then I'll take a break for like, it could be 2 to 3 hours. Have dinner. So I've been doing intermittent fasting. So I skip breakfast and lunch. I don't really eat anything until evening time. So I do that. Then I just de-stress. So what I typically do is I watch shows I like. So I like basketball. So I watch The Jump. And I also watch Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN on demand on the app. Have some dinner. Depends. If it's not winter, typically I like to go out and play basketball outside for like an hour while listening to a podcast. Then at night, I do my second sprint, and it typically varies. Now, I would say the night sprint is where, in a way, you kind of So the first sprint is when you're staying on track with the world. But if you want to be great at anything, you have to work harder than other people. So the second sprint is when you kind of pull ahead. So my second sprint depends on how busy I am, but sometimes I can work from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Or sometimes I can work from 9 p.m. to just 2 a.m. Or sometimes it's just I'm not even working per se, but I'm learning, right? So one thing I've been doing is, because nowadays I've not been traveling that much. I've not traveled since October, and coronavirus is definitely not helping as well, because I am supposed to be speaking at a conference in Russia in April, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go yet, because coronavirus stuff has been, it's no joke. But anyway, let's say I don't feel like working. Let's say I just want to de-stress. If I'm not watching Netflix at night, I play lots of video games. I play 2K, FIFA here and there. Even I try to make that productive, because I feel like just playing video games by itself is basically wasting time. But I make it productive by muting the audio, and I listen to an audiobook, or I listen to a podcast. So for instance, like last month I went through 3 audiobooks in a week from playing video games at night. So something that most people would view as non-productive was very productive for me. And in a way, it was very productive as well, because I might not even find time to listen to those audiobooks had I not sat down and played video games. So anyway, that's kind of my schedule. It's different from everybody, but long story short, I try to schedule everything out on my calendar. And then if I do have free time, I try to use that to just learn. And then I try to maximize my day by using my free time as well to learn. That's how I get through audiobooks a lot. So I've been averaging usually an audiobook every week. If I'm busy, maybe every 2 weeks. But I use Audible. I love audible.com. So I use that a lot to just go through audiobooks. So right now I've been going through audiobooks. Actually, even before this live stream, I was here on a Sunday. I was playing 2K while watching videos on Howard Marks investing. Right, Howard Marks from Oak Tree Capital. He's a great investor, billionaire investor. So I watched like 2 videos of his on YouTube. They're like an hour long each while I was playing 2K. So that's how I get time to sit down and listen to all this stuff while kind of multitasking. Jane says, come on, Ian, next question. Okay, is this live? Yes, Detailed Television, this is live. Now there is a slight delay with the stream because it's just there's a buffer, but that's really it. Anyway, back to the question. No more rambling. Okay. XRP is doing an IPO. How come? Well, XRP is looking to raise capital. They do an IPO to raise capital, and almost in a way, it's kind of to show the entire world that you are a success, because the pinnacle of being an entrepreneur is going public, taking your company public. So, they're profitable. They've been selling their token every single day through programmatic liquidation. So every day they sell about 1% of their daily trading volume, and they use that to raise capital to finance their business. But it looks like they want to get even more capital from the public markets. So that's why they're doing an IPO. So regardless of what you think of their token, because the token is pretty much kind of useless, as a business though, they are printing money. Okay, hold on.
Shut up and take my money.
They are printing money. So that's one thing crypto companies can learn. They're getting money both ways: equity, token, and an IPO. So actually, they're getting money 3 ways. So definitely a very intriguing model. If they're the first crypto company with a token to IPO, that is really paving a way for, I mean, who knows what? I mean, a whole new market. Okay, all right. Okay, people are grilling me about PledgeCamp. Okay, maybe let's take a look at it. Let's take a brief look at it since, I mean, you guys have been asking a lot about it. Okay, let me have some water here as I PledgeCamp. We redesigned crowdfunding and took the worry out. Excuse me. Okay, I'm not seeing anything about a token. I think we went through this before. Okay, so I see here Boxmine did cover it. Okay, here we got a white paper. English. Okay, so this paper outlines a new crowdfunding ecosystem that introduces a vendor network for hiring services and a knowledge center for crowdfunding research. A two-token economy with pledge coins and camp shares. CS powers the platform and compensates users for their contributions to the ecosystem. Okay, let me just quickly skim through this. Okay, Randy Zuckerberg of Facebook. Is this Facebook? No, I think that's Cheryl. Never mind. Founder of Zuckerberg Media and author and radio host. Okay, I mean, without even really going through this, I think this is probably going to be a pass. I mean, just based on, I mean, honestly, it's really a protocol or infrastructure project. They haven't really been, devs have not really been doing well. I'm not sure if they're doing an IEO or ICO, and then just even the regulation and compliance for that has been challenging. So unfortunately, it is tough to say much. Okay, so let's look at this. PledgeCoin, ERC20 token on Ethereum. CampShare is a non-exchange token that allows users to achieve moderator status and earn compensation from the listing fees collected by the platform. Okay, so projects pay to list, or companies pay to list. Okay. All right, so where's the team? I'm not saying anything about the team. Okay, so 24. Okay, we got 3 founders, 4. Okay, large development team here. Agencies. I mean, they didn't really put much about the team's background. They just put names. I mean, they can't be serious. I mean, they just put names without really putting much. So, like the founder, Jay Choi. I mean, I don't know how many Jay Chois there are. I mean, LinkedIn got 1,400 Jay Chois. I mean, okay, so now let's go to LinkedIn here. Let's copy and paste this. Jay Choi. Okay, is this the one? PledgeCamp. Okay, no LinkedIn. Okay, I mean it's surpassed just based on that. I mean, didn't really give much info on the team at all. Right? It's almost kind of like an anonymous team. So I mean, it's surpassed just based on that. So hopefully we'll put that to rest. Now that's just our opinion. Obviously, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But yeah, that's really it. Okay, next question. Can crypto become the safe haven for human beings? Okay, can crypto become a safe haven for humans? No, I think we have to put everything in perspective. People are looking for crypto to be the end all be all, to save everything. I mean, so I'm trying to think about this before I start blabbing. I mean, crypto is definitely transforming the world. I think we're past that point where we can now say crypto is here to stay. I mean, we've seen what Bitcoin has done, especially to people in emerging markets and the developing world, protecting them from hyperinflation, protecting them from political risk, from currency risk. I mean, I would say those are the real big use cases for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a nice hedge and a safe haven from political risk and from currency risk. Currency risk being hyperinflation. If you, for example, if you're in a region where you think you're going to experience hyperinflation, I mean, perfect example is Argentina. That's why Bitcoin is big and popular in Argentina, because Argentina has gone through inflation issues, and Bitcoin has been a way for people to store their wealth. So as opposed to having their local currency just get devalued from actions outside of the control, they can now store their capital in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, for that matter. Then it's a safe haven from political risk, because in other countries, the government can just go and seize your bank and take your assets, right? Whether you're going through political persecution or just the government just wants to take your money. We saw what happened in Cyprus, and that was also a big event that really led to more adoption of crypto. And we see it happen a lot in China. Whenever there are large political events in China or tension, especially amongst the rich in China, the rich have been flowing out of China. I mean, even before coronavirus, right? So let me see if I can find that. There was an image I saw somewhere. I think Chinese millionaires. Leaving China. Let me see if I can find that image. Okay, so I mean, here we got this image. I mean, China has just been dominating, but it was a map. Okay, yeah, here it is. Visual capitalist. Okay, so mapping the global migration of millionaires. So the red arrow are millionaires leaving, and the green arrow are millionaires arriving. And if you look at China, I mean, they're getting out. I mean, though China is seeing a lot of wealth migration, the country is still creating more millionaires than it's losing. Okay, so most millionaires are going, they're leaving Russia, leaving China, leaving India. They're going to Australia. Australia seems to be the most. Then the US. We got Caribbean here, Portugal, Dubai. So, I mean, this is definitely something, but this is not just for millionaires. This can really be for anybody, right? So, I mean, to go back to the question at hand, can crypto be a safe haven? I think under those points, it definitely is. People who are trying to protect their wealth from political risk, currency risk, or just the country, and just control their wealth. I think it's definitely a safe haven for that. But let me know what you guys think. James says Chinese millionaires live in London. Yeah, I mean, London has lots of millionaires for sure. London, Singapore. Okay, all right. Next question here. Okay. Okay, so somebody's okay. This isn't a question. This is more of a comment. Okay, all right. So let me. Okay, so it all depends on the diet and what the quality of food is. Not everybody is eating the same. Here in Mediterranean countries, we eat less processed food. For example, no hamburgers or sausages, ready meal. Yeah, I think you're talking about the question about how much it takes for an average family of four to eat for a month. And yeah, I think Bill was probably looking more at the American family who wants to eat the nice American meals. I mean, because even with this, I mean, because you guys know I'm African, we come from Uganda, so I mean, we used to very humble meal, rice and beans. I mean, growing up as a kid, we had rice and beans because we didn't come from wealth, so rice and beans we got by. I mean, even nowadays, my parents really, for the most part, just cook food at home. I mean, they go out to eat maybe once a week at the most, right? But for the most part, it's rice. Right now, it's mainly lentils. We eat lots of lentils, avocado, bananas, some African foods. So matoke. Anybody out there in Uganda who had the plantain? It's kind of like a banana but green and fatter. Cassava. What else? Spinach. I mean, if anything, the crypto world tour got me fat. Coming back home, whipped me back in shape. But anyway, back on topic. Okay, let's take a question here from YouTube. Hi Ian, what about BTC? Do you think more bearish? We talked about BTC earlier in the show. BTC were very bullish at the moment. I mean, you basically just want to do the opposite of what you think you would. Yeah, do the opposite of what you think you're supposed to do. So when everybody, or rather, do the opposite of what the masses are doing. If everybody's talking about, hey, coronavirus, markets are red, there's blood in the streets, that's the time to buy. If everybody's saying, oh man, it's going to the moon, it's green, bull market that, time to sell. So that's really it. Okay, how do you manage your trading positions within your different trading styles? I mean, I'm not a trader, so I don't trade. I mean, day trading is not for me. That was something I gave up a long time ago. So I don't trade. I'm more of a long-term investor. But even in crypto, that's kind of different. But one thing I'm looking to transition now is going to really being long-term, so I can get the long-term capital gains tax benefits for that. So I don't really trade. I mean, but for traders, if we do have 2 interviews coming up with traders on our channel, the Tokenomics channel. So we have an interview with Ohei Madi on Renko trading strategy, Renko trading and crypto trading strategies. And then we also have an interview coming up with Wolf of Poloniex, who's now called I'm Not the Wolf on Twitter. He's a crypto OG. For anybody who was out there in bull market in 2017, I mean, his tweets on TA were the truth. So we have a very, very special interview with him on the 100X show. Probably one of the best interviews yet. Like, he got real. I mean, he talked about his story of how he went from being in jail, being homeless, to becoming a six-figure crypto trader. And at the peak of the bull market, being a crypto millionaire. So I think for anybody out there who's a trader, who wants to achieve financial freedom, I mean, that's definitely a good story. So guys, stay tuned. That should be, it should be going live sometime in March, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So definitely check that out. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet already. Turn on notifications so that you get the alerts. All right, and that's only on the Metrics channel. That's not on the Diary of a Made Man channel. All right, back to the AMA. Okay. Trump administration considers proposing new tax incentives for stock buying to stimulate the inevitable. What do you think, Bill? Okay, so Bill has left us, unfortunately. Okay, so but he's saying, though, Trump administration is proposing new tax incentives for stock buying. I mean, so they've been doing this for a while. They've been propping up the equities markets for a while. They keep on injecting capital, quantitative easing. I mean, because that's what they can do. They can keep on printing more money. So while we're in the biggest bull run in a while, over 10 years, people think that this can crash. But if they keep on printing more money, it might take a long time to crash, because the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, longer than you can not get wrecked. So just because something is supposed to happen, it doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately. So, I mean, I think they definitely will keep propping up the equities markets. And it makes it very tough to really assume things are going to get worse. So if anything, I don't think things are going to get worse at the moment, because they'll keep on propping it up until it reaches a point where it's like a balloon and just pops. So, I mean, to answer the question, they'll keep on pumping it up. So, I mean, be ready for the worst, but don't expect the worst to happen, if that makes sense. So be ready for the worst. So have a backup plan, right? Be ready for a recession, but don't assume it's going to happen, right? So I think that's probably the best way to kind of hedge that. Okay, can you unban me on Twitter? Luckier83, you banned me for saying your shows. Yeah, sure. Let me pull you up here on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have a very rough policy on Twitter. I ban and ask questions later, because Twitter has so many trolls. So my apologies if I didn't ban you. I just looked you up. I didn't ban you. Just add, yeah, Diary of a Made Man. You have not been banned. So, okay, Moztube says, Ian, all the African food. Yeah, I mean, African food, the stews, all that. We don't really eat meat much. So as mentioned before, I'm basically a flexitarian. So I'm vegetarian. Pretty much 5 to 6, I would say 6 days out of the week. I have meat like once a week. And that's maybe when I go out. But at home, don't really eat meat, and so far it's worked out well for me. I lost over 20 pounds. Okay, next question. All right, so many crypto YouTubers are talking about global resets or global depressions. Reset of debt, financial institutions, government. Where do you see the world going to in a 6 to 60 month period? Oh man, I mean, global reset. This reminds me of Mr. Robot, the show. So I love that show. I watched the first 3 seasons. I haven't yet watched season 4, so don't spoil it for me. But that's what they want to do in the show. It's basically F Society, which is kind of a knockoff of Anonymous, the hacker group. They want to hack this evil corp, this big company, and wipe out all the global debt in the world. And this reminds me of that. So Bernie Sanders kind of has the same strategy. Well, not for the entire global debt, but for student loans. And I mean, quite frankly, I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't like it as well because I paid off my student loans even before the crypto bull run. I had over 60 grand in student loans that I mean I didn't even need because long story, but basically my grad school professor screwed me and I didn't get my TA role, so I didn't get any scholarship. But anyway, so I ended up with loans. That's why whenever they call me to donate to grad school, I'm like, go to hell. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, but I paid off my loans. I also had the opportunity of paying off my brother's loans as well because I had the money, because IBM was good to me. So that's enterprise sales commission check was good to me. So I paid off my student loans. So if Bernie Sanders is gonna wipe out all student loan debt, I have to pull Bernie to the side and be like, Bernie, can you give me some credit, man? Like, can you like maybe give me back my money? I mean, because otherwise, what was the point of paying the student debt? So, I mean, I'm all for it, but the people who paid it off already, like, give us back our money. But obviously, that's never going to happen. And that's unfair to people like us who did it the right way and paid off our debt that maybe other people might have the opportunity of getting theirs wiped out. Right? So I think it's a hard line to cross. Now, if we talk about global debt, how do I think the entire world is going to react? I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, wiping out the debt, I mean, excuse me, they can just, all these central banks can just issue more currency, right? That's what they've been doing this whole time. So why wipe out debt when you can just issue more currency? So I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it's not really my expertise, but just my hunch and opinion, right? I mean, but if anything, I would rather defer to other people. Like there's George something. He's a YouTuber. He has great analysis. I forget what the other name is, but he has great content. Let me see if I have it here on my YouTube. George Gamone, I think, might be the name. Yeah, George Gamone. So I'd watch his videos because he really talks about the repo market and all that stuff. Student loan reparations. Hey, for all of us, I mean, because what was the point of paying all that money for nothing? All right, MostTube says, Ian, all the African foods you mentioned are the healthiest foods anyone should eat. Rich or poor, Beyond Meat is being made of beans. Go figure. Yeah, I mean, I did try the I think it was Beyond Meat. Because there are two companies. It was one company, but anyway, it's that fake burger. I did try it. I mean, it tasted all right, but it was so unhealthy. I mean, I was like, what's the point of making a plant-based burger that's unhealthy? I mean, because I thought the whole premise of eating plants was to eat healthy. But I mean, that was just a heart attack. I mean, if anything, it was unhealthier than the real burger. At least that's the way it looked and tasted like. But anyway, back to the show. Have you looked into Neo 3 yet? Or the head of NGD over in Seattle, John Davedos, who was also head of .NET at Microsoft and scaled Microsoft Digital, and how he is linking Neo and Microsoft Azure? No, I mean, we've not looked at Neo 3 yet, but if we go back here to Token Metrics, let's pull up Neo. Neo is 22 in the Moon Index, so I mean that's not bad. The TA is bullish, so I mean it's definitely not so bad to have in the portfolio. Generally speaking, is it a good idea to diversify investments, real estate, stocks, bonds, crypto, precious metals, etc., or to put your eggs in one basket? Example, only crypto. Oh man, I mean this question here is a doozy. Let me drink some water. I mean it's a doozy because you have two schools of thought. I mean the standard school of thought is do not diversify. Diversify your portfolio. This is what everybody else tells you to do, and I would say yes, if you are a passive investor, meaning somebody who doesn't have the time to dedicate full time into investing, diversify your portfolio. Right? This is from index fund investing, ETFs, mutual funds, what have you. Just diversify across the board. Call it a day. And I think yes, if you just want to be average and get the market returned, yes, diversify across the board. But then you have people like Warren Buffett who says diversification is for dummies. He says if you know what you're doing, you don't diversify. But then again, Warren Buffett is a professional, full-time investor. He reads annual reports every single day for a living. Like he just wakes up and just reads all day long. And if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't do that. So I would say if you're not full-time investing, diversify. But if you're a professional and you know what you're doing, then you can take a lot more risk. However, I still think in my opinion, you should have some form of diversification overall, right? Might not be the typical index fund strategy or investing in everything across the board, but I do think if you're not active in crypto full time, diversify. Otherwise, you'll get wrecked and beat by professionals who are doing this for a living full time, right? So that's kind of my take on it. Hope that's helpful. Okay, question from YouTube, Hourglass. What is your advice? Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, why isn't Restream showing these chats? Anyway. All right. So he's saying, what is your advice on creating a business on YouTube for tax write-offs? Also, what is the benefit of creating a business for investing? In your experience, thanks, Ian. You are fire. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You are fire too. Okay. All right. First of all, I'll preface by saying I'm not a tax professional or accountant or CPA or lawyer. Consult a tax accountant, CPA, or lawyer for tax advice and legal advice. This is just my opinion. But creating a business for YouTube, I mean, that's a good way to start, because with a business, you have business expenses, which are tax deductible. So, for example, if you create a studio, if you buy camera equipment, like this microphone, like the sound mixer I have, all that is tax deductible, right? So that could be helpful for your business, I take it. But I mean, what is the benefit though? Benefit for investing? It depends. Also depends on your jurisdiction, where you are. I mean, so maybe you want to invest in an entity, right? So you create an LLC, and that's the investment company that you use to invest, which means you have to have a business bank account and other things like that, right? Because then you could also probably kind of give shares to the company to other people. But I mean, kind of like back Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett, right? That's a company, but they use that as a holding company to buy other companies and make investments. So I mean, everything varies and depends. But having a business is almost always a win, just for being able to kind of separate your personal and your business. So if you have business activities, being able to kind of silo them into an LLC, and you also get legal protection, because as opposed to being a sole proprietor where something happens, they come after you, everything is being done under the entity. The entity, according to the law, is its own imaginary person. So if the LLC does something, right, it's the LLC that's at fault. It's kind of like creating a firewall for protecting your wealth, your assets, your legal risk. So I mean, long term, they're typically a win. Okay, Rebecca is saying, what about Icon, ICX? So we did look into that. ICX. Okay, so I'm pulling up Icon. Right now, the technical is not really there for Icon, technical analysis. So now's not the time to get in. Now's not a good entry point. We did mention earlier, we have to figure out what exactly is going on here. It's showing market cap as opposed to price, because anyway. But yeah, I mean, technical analysis is neutral at the moment. So, but I mean, long term though, Icon has been pretty decent. It's just now the TA is not really there at the moment. All right, let's go to the next question. Why is your ranking of the top 10 different than mine as a hodler plan? So this is the professional, right? So hodler gives you the top 10, the top 20 market cap. So like Maker is outside the top 20, Cosmos, Matic. So the higher cap coins, the lower cap or lower market cap coins, those you will not have access to. So all that is under the subscription page here. Right, this is hodler's top 20 market cap. Right, then all these others as well. Okay, let's go to the next question. This is live. We're doing it live. Would a BTC lottery be of interest to you to invest? No, I don't really do lotteries. And would a BTC lottery similar to Mega Millions help with mass adoption due to the greedy nature of humans? Possibly. I mean, I don't really believe in lotteries because it's luck, and if anything, lotteries are a great business model. I mean, preying on people's dreams and hopes of getting rich. But will a lottery help with mass adoption? I don't really. Because there are crypto lotteries already, and they haven't really helped with mass adoption. But possibly, because airdrops do help, because people, I've seen people move mountains for airdrops. I mean, especially if somebody's let's say you're a student or whatever, don't have any money. Some students made bank on the ontology airdrop, right? So I could see that happening possibly, but I mean, it wouldn't really be my first choice of ways to get mainstream adoption, though. Okay, Ian, please look at the Total 2 trading view chart. Please compare the alt volume from... Okay, I think Bill already did this. Looking at the Total 2 trading view. Yeah, I think Bill might have already done this. The alt waves has already begun. Yeah, I mean, alt season, we think 2020 is definitely going to be alt season. That's what Bill has been saying in our newsletters and on other shows as well. So I mean, we're very, very optimistic for crypto in 2020. I mean, unless this coronavirus thing gets even worse and causes mass pandemic and crashes all markets. But overall, I mean, we're very bullish because you have Bitcoin halving, Ethereum 2.0, DeFi, I mean, all these other things happening. So we're very bullish on, because all the fundamentals for crypto as a whole have changed. Yeah, so what other events? So I mentioned, the question is, besides the halving, what events do you see as major events for the space? I would say, good question. So the major events I see for the space, besides the halving, Ethereum 2.0 launch, I would say Telegram Ton. Now, the SEC is supposed to, I think, well, not the SEC, but the judge in the Telegram Ton case versus the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, they're supposed to come to a decision on April 30th, I believe. And depending on what the judgment is and ruling is, that could be pro or negative for crypto. Right? If Telegram wins, oh man, I mean, to the moon and beyond. I mean, if they beat the SEC and say, hey, we're not a security, that's huge, because everybody else can then use that as precedence. But I think it's going to take a while, because whoever loses will just appeal, I believe. So it may end up even going all the way to the Supreme Court, because I mean, Telegram has the cash to go all the way. But anyway, I'm not a legal professional, so let them handle that. But I think that's a big event. The other big event, I would say Facebook Libra, if that ever launches. I mean, they're supposed to launch something this year. If they put out like an app that works with Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, that's huge as well. I think that's going to be huge as well. So those are the major events: Facebook, Telegram, Ethereum 2.0, Bitcoin halving. Those are some big events to keep an eye on. I mean, obviously, outside of crypto, we're all looking at stocks and the capital markets to see how they react. Whether this bull market is over and we're going into a contraction, or what's going to happen with this coronavirus thing. All right, so I heard Coinbase plans to use Matic Network for payment acceleration. I haven't heard of this, so can't really comment much on this, but I do think that's possible, because Coinbase Venture did invest in Matic Network. So I mean, that is possible. Okay, this question I already answered on the YouTube comments. Well, this I can't really help you with, because this I did not do. Okay. Hey Ian, I have $50,000 and willing to be a millionaire in the coming bull run. With specific coin do you think I should look into? And yes, it's not financial advice. I mean, I can't give you financial advice. But if I myself personally had $50,000 to invest, how would I invest it? I mean, I would assume I'm not full time into crypto, so I would diversify my portfolio. I would, first of all, I would definitely join Token Metrics. I would join under the, investor or the professional plan. And then I would go and build my portfolio. So I would pick a particular interval to balance my portfolio. Let's say you're looking to invest and rebalance your portfolio every week. So on a weekly basis, every Sunday you rebalance your portfolio, and you're willing to put up with the extra loss in money via fees for trading a lot, for swing trading a lot, but for making sure you have the right portfolio. Then I would just come here and I would just put 10%, so $5,000 into each of the 10, and just have an equally balanced portfolio. So Bitcoin, Maker, Ethereum, Litecoin, Cosmos, Matic, Decred, Binance, Holo, Basic, Attention token. And then every Sunday night, 6 p.m., maybe rebalance that, maybe sell, take profits on the winners, and buy on the losers. And if one drops out of the top 10, get out of that one and buy the new one in the top 10. And I would just kind of do it like that. Or maybe if I don't want to trade as much, I would just trade, maybe rebalance the portfolio every month, every quarter, something like that. But that's the strategy I would use. Now, that's not guaranteed to make you a millionaire, but I think it's almost in a way a form of factor investing, of having exposure to projects that could perform well in the next bull run. Neo can do everything ETH can do and is aiming to be the B2C blockchain leader, DeFi leader, and can do it all better. Neo can implement change and updates instantly, where areas ETH requires more time on agreeing. Well, I mean, all I can say is all the projects and founders I've met who have tried to build a Neo have told me that it can't work. Not can't work, but they've told me that the marketing is ahead of the development. I mean, so like Red Pulse hasn't done anything on Neo, pretty much. Phantasma, a project I invested in and advised in, ended up ditching Neo to build their own blockchain. So almost all the Neo projects, I mean, I don't really know any Neo project doing well. If anybody knows, please comment in the comments. But I mean, almost all of them have either ditched Neo, or they've just, because there was even that exchange that ended up shutting down. It was a Neo exchange that shut down a while back because Neo couldn't handle whatever they're trying to do. I think they're building a DEX, I believe. So I mean, overall, other developers have not really liked Neo. So I mean, but that's just kind of from them. But in Token Metrics, it's 22 on the Token Metrics. So I mean, it's not too bad, but I think just be cautious and don't believe the hype too much. Okay, continuing on to the $50,000. Do you think STX or Matic can make it happen? Not financial advice. Yeah. I mean, I think Blockstack and Matic can definitely make it happen. Let's see where Stacks is. Blockstack is right now out of the top 100 in market cap, and right now the TA it's not really a good entry point. But I mean, I think definitely keep an eye on that. To us, that's been a pretty good project right now, just kind of based on how things are, because it's still relatively new. But long term, we think that does have potential. Well, Icon Ever Moon. Oh man, I mean, it's possible. I mean, never say never. But is it probable? I mean, I think they definitely have carved out a niche. They do have a good community and ecosystem. I was looking into the pre-reps. I mean, a pre-rep can earn up to 20 grand a month. I mean, based on the paper documents I was reading, I mean, that's legit. So it seems like they have their own community that they're putting together. So, I mean, anything is possible. Can't really rule anything out. But okay, I mean, I think we're gonna call it a wrap there. If I didn't answer any of your questions, please leave a voicemail. We have the audience call in. So this is mainly for North America users. So country code +1 202 600 7805. So +1 202 600 7805. Leave a question using voicemail for next week's show. And then we'll go through, filter out the questions, find the good questions, and we'll ask them on the show and answer them on the show. So this is something new we're trying. This is the audience call-in. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think. All right. I mean, with that being said, we'll be sending out an email newsletter to Tokenmetrics customers in a few days or so, probably by tomorrow, if not Tuesday. Just kind of, this is something I put together on the future of crypto investing. So it's kind of like the webinar we had a while back, but just more of me doing everything in writing. So it's an article I've done, over 1,000 words. So I'll be sending that out. So stay tuned for that. And I mean, other than that, it's been a pleasure. Thank you everybody who's been watching and tuned in. Over 2.5 hours of the live stream. Once again, sorry for the technical issues. I'll try to figure out why OBS keeps doing that. But other than that, thank you guys so much. And as usual,
we just landed on the moon in a Lambo.
The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody. Take care. It was a pleasure. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you're joined our podcast, be sure to leave us a nice 5-star review. That will definitely help us out a lot. Until next time.